I like that they take the time to even make their prohibited items list a little fun.
Sure. Well, that's all you can really ask for.
Yeah, and I mean, hardcore Foo Fighter fans are trying to bring fucking unflattering photos of Ryan Seacrest into shows just to see if they can get him in.
But it does kind of like feed into my normal rage thing here going on today. Would you actually, when you go to a show, well, what the fuck are you bringing with you?
Yeah, like, are you tailgating the goddamn gig?
I mean, honestly, I don't take a wallet because that shit's going to get stolen out of your pocket.
Yeah, especially if you're an active participant in a mosh pit of some sort.
I mean, I'm bringing like my ticket. God, if I am bringing cash, I have it stowed away in an inconspicuous spot, and that's it. That's it. Nobody's
maybe a bladder of liquor tied to my gut.
I don't even. Yeah, well, I'm not going to say.
Because who wants to pay $10 for a Jack and Coke at a show?
That is true. Drinks will kill you, eat you alive there, but that's it. I mean, what else do you have to bring with you?
Yeah.
And I know ladies listen to the podcast, the 3 of you are going to say, well, hold on now. I like to bring my purse because sometimes I need to get to my stuff. Well,
what do you need at a rock show?
You're at a rock show. That's exactly right.
Extra pair of undies. Just wear them over your dirty, crusty ones.
Wear done. That's the proper way.
Or get it done.
Yeah.
You know. Make it all smell like denim down there.
Right. If I ever hear about it, if it's like a popular pickpocketing area, I take a razor blade, cut the bottom of my pockets open, so,
Yeah, that's right.
Somebody reaches through them into the never.
So you chose this path, and now you got to commit. We're here now. My hand's not in your ass pocket. Your hand's in my ass pocket, sir. Let's see. Who we got born today?
You got the Rick Roll fellow. You got Rick Assplay.
Yeah, who we were just talking about yesterday.
Yeah, not on the podcast. We were talking about getting Rick rolled and fun stuff like that. That is weird that we brought up yesterday, and here is his birthday today.
Well, we gingers know when important days of birth are at hand.
You guys are close.
Probably one's a little bit bigger than Rick Astley, I guess. Fucking Bob Marley, born 45.
Oh, yeah. No longer a monk.
That's right. Would he die of a toe thing?
Got an infection, like one of his digits, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was like a toe infection or something.
Probably.
Killed him.
Yeah.
I guess weed don't save you from bacterial infection.
Probably not.
Natalie Cole, 1950, the far less talented daughter of Nat King Cole. Axl Rose, born today, 1962.
Yeah. The fat guy that's the front man for...
that fat woman that sings for AC/DC now. Who, by the way, have said that they're going to make a new album.
AC/DC?
Yeah, with Axl on the front and no Malcolm. Let's get that money. Let's get that popularity money.
That's all that it is.
Yeah, that drunk college kid money. That's what it is.
Well, that is true because the fact is there are people that still listen to AC/DC. That's their thing. And if that is your thing, that's okay. I'll cut you slack if you're under the age of 23, 24 maybe. But I still maintain, come on, man. The wrong young went to the grave.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you shouldn't be dressing like a creepy schoolboy when you're in your 70s.
That's true. Then just slowly take that shit off as the show progresses.
So he's like the spitting image of like Mr. Herbert on Family Guy now.
Gord Downey, born day in 1964, singer of Tragically Hip.
Right.
Who died last October.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, not that long ago.
Yeah,
brain aneurysm or something, right?
Finished up...
brain cancer.
Finished up that farewell tour and died shortly later. Good time to better.
Talk about timing, yeah.
Him and Lemmy, they got good timing. They ain't going to die while they're making an album or touring. They're going to wait till that shit's done. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. Not a bad day. Not a bad day.
On to Tuesday MMA.
Which is also kind of a weird one because you don't usually start getting any scraps of information until maybe Monday if you're lucky, but generally Tuesday.
Yeah, hell, the fight card we cover today for Saturday's pay-per-view might be completely different than the one we see when it shows up.
Yeah, but it's not a pay-per-view, right?
Yeah,
no, it is a pay-per-view.
221.
It is a pay-per-view.
Romero and Rockhold.
Yeah, no, this is subject to change in a big way in the next 4 days.
Let's see. I think we should go over. There's not a whole lot to go over about last Saturday's card, except for one big thing, and it's not even a fucking fighter. It's a referee.
Well, here's the whole. Yeah. Well, I will let you get to it because my problem is I can see it from two different ways, but my problem is it's not the first egregious refereeing job by this particular fellow.
Yeah. So we watched Valentina Shevchenko, who, with that performance over Priscilla Cachoeira, I was already a fan. This is going to be the flyweight queen right here. We saw her destroy Cachoeira over the span of about 8 minutes, 9.5 minutes.
She exposed her. She exposed somebody that shouldn't have been in the octagon.
Oh, yeah, that first counter right that she landed on her, that changed the game. You could see it in her face. She's like, oh, shit. I've never been punched by someone like this before. And her whole game changed. She was outstruck 203-3.
Which I would argue, because I think it's 2. I didn't see the third
I think
one.
they're giving her credit where credit, I mean, you could give her 10.
Yeah.
You'd be like, yeah, she hit her a dozen times. Well, she hit her over 200 times, and most of those were significant strikes.
So one shot to almost 100, yeah.
Beat her within an inch of her life. And all the meanwhile, Mario Yamasaki is just kind of hovering over the action.
Playing the role of Steve Mazzagatti.
Not really close to the action for someone who's getting pummeled on the ground by someone who's clearly on a different level than she is.
Right.
So finally the fight ends with Shevchenko tapping her with rear naked.
Well, Shevchenko usually puts him away by, I don't know, throwing multiple, undefended shots to the face. That's how she usually finishes people, because then the referee steps in and stops the fight.
Yeah.
Not the case Saturday.
No, Yamasaki seems to be the only one that is defending how he did it. Everyone else is...
Well, of course. Dana White called him out on Instagram immediately afterward.
God, well, yeah, which is, I mean, how unlike him to do that, right?
Well, he wasn't at the event because it was in Brazil. Dana White doesn't do Brazil.
No,
so.
well, Dana White does love, like when someone, especially if it's someone that's not contracted directly to the UFC, fucks up, he loves to come out and just destroy them.
Right.
It's like Mazzagatti. Well, anytime a referee fucks up, you're going to hear about it from Dana White. But basically, here's what Yamasaki had to say. During the second round, I signaled to her that if she didn't move, I'd stop the fight. This is during the second round. This fight should have been stopped in the first round.
Right.
There's already no validity to this statement.
Sure.
I told her to move and try to escape from the punches. Unfortunately, I also can't control the number of blows thrown. Again, when a fighter's trying to come back, she's game. Did you ever see her trying to come back?
No, she was just wearing everything that was thrown by Shevchenko, the entirety of the fight.
I could have stopped the fight in the second crucifix or in the mount, but she moved the whole time. Well, yeah, because she was still alive.
Right. Human reaction is to usually try to move away from getting punched.
I also recognize that I should have stopped when she tapped the first time in the rear naked choke. I only stopped a few seconds later. So even fucked up the submission shit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. So you got no Big John. John McCarthy is now a commentator for Bellator, which is weird to me, but
it is. He did a good job.
Well, I'm not saying he
No,
will.
I'm with him and Mike Goldberg. They're pretty good, pretty dry.
Yeah.
Pretty dry, but pretty good.
But John McCarthy is the only reason we have rules in the UFC now.
That's right. That dude's the reason why it's a legit sport.
But it is weird to me that kind of the guy that I always looked at as the biggest moderator of anything that's going on within the octagon is now kind of throwing around opinion behind a mic. That's weird to me, but that's fine. I wish him the best. You got Herb Dean, who's been a little bit questionable anyway in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
In big situations. Yeah. You got, I almost called him Mazzagatti. You got Yamasaki, who after Saturday's egregious shit, this is not his first mess up either. Dana White alluded to that on his Instagram post on that, mentioning this is a referee that this is certainly not his first egregious call here.
No, Low Kick MMA has a list of 7.
Yeah.
That are fairly recent.
And, I think it's time for him to go ahead and call it a day. I think the UFC's best referee at this point might be Mark Goddard or Keith Peterson.
Yeah. You're not going to be selling
Dan Mergliot I have no problem with, really. I think Dan stands back off a little bit, and I don't like that because if it turns to murder real fast, you kind of have to be right there. And that's the other problem I had with that female referee that they'd had. And I'm not
Albuquerque.
I am not yet. What was it? Rita Albuquerque or something like that?
Yeah, something like Carolina Albuquerque or something.
But and I'm not trying to say that I have anything against female referees. I don't. I have something against that female referee. She was halfway across, half the span of the octagon away from the action. You got to be pretty close.
Sure, especially when it goes to the ground.
Yeah,
and a fight could change at any given moment.
Sure.
But really, the only female referees I've seen is her and Kim Winslow.
Right.
Kim Winslow's terrible.
Yeah.
Kim Winslow is bad.
Yep.
I mean, if your decision just completely fucks up the outcome of the fight, because you got the refs are like, this is how this fight was going to end. It's just a matter of how much more damage this guy have to wear before the ref would have stopped it.
Right.
There are some times where the referee just changes the whole pace of the fight, and the guy that was kicking ass and winning ends up losing the fucking fight.
Yeah. No, that's terrible. And it shouldn't be that way, but the problem is it's vital for that referee to be there for the reason that they're there. Yeah. And the reason that they're there is to make sure it's a fair fight, first of all, but second of all, make sure nobody dies. And Yamasaki, I mean, probably thankfully that Shevchenko's only 125.
Well, shit, we really only see him in Brazil anyway.
That is
true.
When was the
last time we saw him stateside? At a UFC event.
Dana White alluded to something. I don't know if it's factual, because he had said that he needs to be kind of decertified, really, by the Athletic Commission in Brazil. Does that kind of lead you to think that maybe he's not allowed to ref fights in Nevada anymore?
Unless a license from one athletic organization can span others. I mean, clearly their suspension decisions do.
Probably requires a little bit of research before I talk too much shit about him. Yeah. But it is a little bit suspicious.
I mean, I haven't really watched a Bellator card or an LFA card or anything like that. He might be popping up on those, but you don't see him on UFC if it's in the 48.
Nope.
You know, you don't even see him in Europe.
Nope.
If it's in Brazil, he'll be there.
I haven't seen him in a long time. Dana White kind of got on him the last really egregious screw up he had like 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah.
And he said he needs to stop with his heart-shaped bullshit thing he's doing with his hands and step in and be a referee. And he's right. He's not wrong. I mean, people love to hate Dana White, but he's not wrong.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the biggest promoter of the promotion, and I think he does a fine job at it.
And on the list of the 7 worst screw-ups, that last Saturday's fight was number 5.
Yeah. Wow. Which tells you there were 4 times that Yamasaki did worse.
Yeah, Glover and Fabio Maldonado at 152. Glover basically destroyed his ass.
Yeah. And I remember that was one that our friend Kerry had threatened to stop watching fights with.
No, that was the Stipe and Mark Hunt fight.
Oh, was that the one?
Yeah, when Stipe was just beating him, and he beat him for the whole fight. Yeah. That was the thing. It was the 4th round, and he was still getting.
But I know that Maldonado one was not good because his head.
No, that was in 2012. That one.
God, Maldonado got leveled by somebody.
Yeah.
Well, it was obviously not Glover Teixeira then.
And the one that we're probably thinking of that we remember the most is that Chiesa and Kevin Lee fight that he stopped early.
Yeah, because that one under no circumstance was Chiesa done with that fight.
And then thankfully we got Kevin Lee with a staph infection fighting Tony Ferguson. Yay! Yeah. Rad. The worst one though, Travis Brown and Derek Lewis.
That was actually not a bad fight, I gotta say.
It was the punches that came afterwards,
right?
When the fight should have been stopped, because Derek Lewis ain't gonna stop.
No.
And that's how fighters should be. I mean, if they have the wherewithal to be like, I know this fight is over, I'm just going to get up, and he's not going to get up.
You should have to be at the ability to be able to step in to prevent further throws that will come after a fighter has been ruled or has been deemed to be incapacitated and unable to defend themselves.
Oh man, yeah, I don't know how many more pay-per-views we're going to be having in Brazil.
I don't know.
But I don't think we're going to see Mario on him.
And I got to say this, too, is that, was it just me, but outside of the top, the main and the co-main, the rest of that card, it was very much should be pretty much a good run by Brazilians.
Yeah. Well, the Brazilians, they swept the prelims.
Yeah.
Got to the main card, and the Brazilians I thought were going to lose did not lose.
And vice versa.
Yeah. It was really weird. I mean, what's his face got robbed? And that
Tim Means?
Yeah. He got robbed.
Yeah, I can see that. But I mean,
Eric Anders, I think he got robbed.
Maybe. My problem with Eric Anders was it started to become such a frustration.
Yeah.
Rounds 3, 4, 5. I think he won round 3, but still, the championship rounds, he was not doing anything. He made no apparent attempt to try to finish that fight.
Yeah. And I mean, he called himself out on it in the post fight after he was done like bitching about the judges. He was like, "Yeah, I didn't pressure enough. I gave him too much respect."
You're fighting in Brazil, son. You better do work.
You go for the finish.
Yep.
Because that is the only way you're going to – well, that's the only way you're guaranteed victory in any fight is if you're trying to go for the finish.
Sure, but if you're in Brazil, you're already going to be you're going to be the underdog. I don't give a shit what Vegas says you are.
Yeah.
And the problem then becomes is that it extends the career of one Lyoto Machida, who really needs to wrap things up.
Yeah. I would like to see Lyoto and Michael Bisping go at it like a dual retirement fight.
Yeah,
I'd be all right with that.
Bisping will lay him out, dude.
Shit, I don't know if Bisping's recovered.
Yeah, well, he
from
did.
Gastelum.
That was
an
ass beating.
out.
That was an ass beating.
That was the nastiest knockout I'd seen until Ngannou put down over him.
Well, and Bisping's going to have his final fight coming up here in March?
No, he's not going to be on that card.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought that was the entire reason for putting that card together.
Because I think they'd offered him Vitor.
Oh, well,
I could be wrong on that.
He doesn't want to lose.
He doesn't want to lose. He doesn't want to lose the last retirement fight. He may feel like he has a shot against Lyoto based on his fighting style.
Maybe I don't know that maybe that'd be one that they'd come to some agreement. Hey, this is our last fight, but there's never anything binding.
Here's what
that.
you do: you call Dan Henderson up,
shit,
and you get that rubber match going on. It ain't for a belt. It's just to murder each other.
But we both know Dan Henderson won that second fight.
Oh fuck yeah! Dan Henderson should have been middleweight champion for the 10 minutes that post fight started.
That was maybe the worst. Well, no, it wasn't the worst. The worst I always know will always be the one that took place in Albuquerque, but with Diego Sanchez and the dude from
Ross Pearson.
Yeah.
That's still on a number one on a lot of lists.
Yeah. All right. Time for us to go ahead and get on some picks because I'm positive we're running a little longer than usual.
Let me see. Yeah. We got enough time to give some abbreviated picks for this Saturday's UFC 221 main card.
Yeah, should I? We do have the pay-per-view coming up. It is 221. The problem with 221, it's taking place down in Australia, and they want a lot of Australian fighters to be on the card, and I don't blame them for that. The biggest problem is there really a lot of them are not known here in the United States.
Yeah. But and there's really only one Australian superstar that's going to be on this card since Robert Whittaker had to pull out from the Rockhold fight, which is, of course, Mark Hunt. We'll go down in the main event of the early prelims. You got Ross Pearson fighting Mizuto Hirota.
I mean, I like Ross. I just don't know. My problem is I don't know if there's a weird thing that's kind of happened to him lately until that Diego Sanchez fight.
Yeah, it seemed to really just destroy him inside.
His career is he's kind of all right with trying to be a point fighter, and I get it because that's the way that Diego beat him with homebrew judges.
Right.
But the problem is that I think that he was a really, really accomplished fighter and even a sometime finisher. But since then, he's not been.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Pearson in that just because
nostalgia.
Yeah, I loved him in The Ultimate Fighter, bro.
Right.
On the Fox Sports 1 prelims, you got Jussier Formiga fighting Ben Nguyen at flyweight.
I like Ben Nguyen. When he's healthy,
yeah,
that guy looks really, really impressive. The problem is he's not healthy too often. But his last fight, that was quite a domination he had.
He's easily taggable. That's kind of the only thing. But Formiga's game is on the ground.
Right.
So we might find out
I like Ben Williams keeping that thing standing, and I like his chances to kind of really. I don't know that he gets the finish, but maybe. And if it does, it's going to be some weird flash knockout.
Yeah, it'll be something out of nowhere.
Yep.
That's kind of what he's known for. Headline in the Fox Sports 1 prelims, Damian Brown fighting Dong Hyun Kim, the maestro from South Korea.
Yeah.
Who's rocking some pretty gnarly locks on this picture I'm looking at the UFC website. Shit.
Yeah, I don't really have a pick on that one.
Australia battling South Korea. There you go, Aussie on that. Go Damian Brown. Just for the simple fact that, hey, this is a lightweight fight. Few people are going to give a fuck about.
Right. Yeah, and it's going to be probably it's going to sound like a weird cavern because probably still nobody there. Because this thing's all taking place like basically with our time, right?
Yeah, this is going to be on normal pay-per-view time.
So that means it's going to be like afternoon.
Kicks off at 8.
It's going to be
pay-per-view,
like early afternoon over in Australia. Actually, like probably late morning when this kicks off. So
good. They have no excuse to miss it then.
Yeah, you do, because there's a lot better shit going on than sitting around and early morning when you could be having Fosters and eggs.
I don't know, man. Mark Hunt fight in Perth.
Well, yeah, but that'd be in the afternoon.
Yeah. You're. I don't know how hardcore Australian MMA fans are to like show up to a fight card of this ilk, because it kicks off at 4:30.
Their time.
4:30 our time. 4:30 Eastern.
Well, yeah. So that's going to end up being like probably ballpark like 8:30, 9:30 in the morning there.
Oh, yeah, they should be able to make it. On the main card, fight light heavyweight Tyson Pedro out of Australia fighting Saperbek Safarov. Guess where he's from?
Russia.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Pedro's got the reach. He's got the leg reach even, which is kind of cool. I like the UFC website throwing that on there.
Vote Pedro.
Every time he goes for a takedown, he lands it. Going Tyson Pedro. That, and he's ranked. Ranked number 13 in light heavyweight, which doesn't mean shit, but
I will go with the Napoleon Dynamite assessment there.
There you go. Yeah. Jake Matthews, the Celtic kid, fights out of Australia.
Yeah, what happened to Jake?
He's fighting Li Jinglang.
Yeah, I like Jake.
Yeah, looking at
Australia cards, by the way, are almost always Australia versus the Far East.
Yeah, it does seem to be that way. Agreed. Going Jake Matthews on that. Another Aussie, Tai Tuivasa, Bam Bam, coming in the heavyweight division out of Australia, which of course, fighting Cyril Asker from France.
Yeah, that's a heavyweight division. Two guys nobody's ever heard of. It'll be a terrible, boring decision fight. Two guys leaning on each other for probably about, I would say, 12 and a half minutes.
Yeah. Tuivasa will probably take the decision on this one. I think you're right. Now the co-main, some names we know.
Okay.
Super Samoan Mark Hunt,
right,
fighting Curtis Blades, which sounds like a video game character, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. Sounds like it ought to be on like the Final Fight. What is that? Actually,
like
Street
Streets
Fighter.
of Rage.
Streets of Rage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the one thing is I think Blades has got the power and ability. I don't think he's got the technique. He looked terrible last time out. I think he got the win, but only just barely so.
Right.
I think he outlasted a guy. And the problem is that you've got to be able to finish. You're fighting Mark Hunt. This guy throws some weird, wacky angle punches that probably Curtis Blades hasn't seen before.
Yeah, and can weather a lot of he's weathered a lot. I mean, I don't know how many more he has left.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. I mean, your chin doesn't repair itself. That's the flip side, I would say, of that. If Blades is like if he went through a camp that kind of really emphasized that you need to get some things done and you need to get them done early, maybe I like his chances. But I really think if he looks like the Blades we saw last fight out, I like Mark Hunt.
Yeah, well, Curtis Blades has him as far as, I mean, he's taller than he is by a half foot. He's got an 8-inch reach advantage.
Sure, but
so did Stefan Struve.
He didn't utilize anything that he had going for him in his last fight. That's the whole thing. I need to see a different Curtis Blades this time.
I think we see Mark Hunt put this guy to sleep. He can do it. He could probably do it in the second round.
Yeah,
he's just going to load up that right and just wait for that one moment, figure out how many times this guy's going to punch him in the face. And he's going to punch him in the face once.
I do think we have the possibility of a couple of heavyweights that don't put their hands up when they should. This might very well be I don't see it going 5.
Yeah. Oh, no. Well, co-main, it can't even go 3.
Oh, well, yeah, that's okay. That's right. It's not even the main
Yeah, because
event.
we got the main event coming up.
The main event's going to be a weird one for me because, we've got two really well-known fighters.
Yeah, the interim middleweight title fight, which, again, this was supposed to be for the real middleweight belt, which was held by Robert Whittaker, which used to be the interim belt, but now it's real, but now we're getting another interim belt.
Yeah.
God damn, man. That middleweight division is just in mud right now. It's
basically a thrifty nickel of who's got what going on with him.
I feel like I could fight for an interim belt if I could cut to 185.
Yeah, probably.
You got Yoel Romero, Soldier of God, fighting Luke Rockhold, El Pretty Boy.
El Shithead.
El Fucko.
Not that we have an opinion on this fight, but that's the whole thing, though. I think the Yoel Romero, I know that Rockhold thinks he's going to do well, but Rockhold thought he was going to do well against Bisping before he got embarrassed on a global
short notice replacement,
a global stage.
Ooh.
And lost his strap and pretty much embarrassed himself, his family, a.k.a., and everybody associated with anybody in San Jose, California.
The only reason people remember Luke Rockhold was a champ was because of Michael Bisping.
Pretty much.
Because you see the highlight all the time.
And I'm sure that he'd be a great B actor or at least a paid extra probably in a movie somewhere. But
as long as his face comes out looking the same after this fight.
Yeah, and that's a big if because Yoel Romero tends to really, really fuck people up. I mean, that's kind of what he's known for. He's also known for kind of letting people kind of get at him a little bit in rounds 2 and 3.
Oh, yeah. And with this being a 5-round fight, because at 213, Romero looked great those first 2 rounds, man. Power, but he did slow down. He's probably 205 on fight day.
Right.
If this fight goes longer than 3 rounds, I think Luke's chances of winning goes astronomically up. If he doesn't have 3 concussions by then.
I do think it's really, really weird that the degree, I mean, people that are smarter than I am, Joe Rogan generally, top of the list, they always talk about the great game that Romero has on the ground. They always point out he's an Olympic wrestler, a gold medalist wrestler. We never see it on display.
No, we see him flying through the air, knocking people out with knees.
That guy has got a crazy reach. He's got a crazy ability to throw flying knees when you don't expect him. Ask Chris Weidman. I mean, there are a lot of people that have been on the brutal end of an ass kicking from this guy.
And I mean, I really want to see a rematch between Whittaker and Yoel.
I think that
deserves to be run back when both guys are healthy and good to go.
Well, that was probably one of the best fights of that particular.
Sure. Out of a card that just got nickel and dime to death. I mean, we were going to get Nunes and Shevchenko. We were going to get Dillashaw and Garbrandt, the other idiot.
Because that was all international fight week.
Yeah, and your main event was Yoel and Robert Whittaker fighing for an interim belt.
Which turned out really being the only real gem on that whole card, yeah.
Yeah, thankfully the night before, you had a fight of the night contender.
Right.
Who you got?
I got Romero by a finish in probably round 3, but yeah, man, I still maintain though if it goes beyond 3, I think his chances start to kind of really get minimalized.
Yeah. I mean, his chances go up to be finished, but if he can rock those 3 rounds, Luke Rockhold is going to have to fight for a finish, and I don't know if he's capable of taking Yoel down, keeping him there, and beating him up.
Well, and there's also the thing that we know that happens a lot when a guy that is known as a tested commodity gets his ass kicked.
Yeah.
Then suddenly we don't know what that guy is anymore. And we don't even have to get away from that camp. Look at Cain Velasquez.
Sure.
Okay, and I know that people say, well, he's been injured. For how long now? Look at his number of fights. Look at his number of fights in the last 3 years alone. 2 fights in 3 years?
God, now you fucking mentioned that.
I mean, the problem becomes then, out of his camp at American Kickboxing Academy, out of Luke Rockhold's camp, his teammate, Cain Velasquez, after getting really just brutalized by Fabricio Verdum, yeah, I know he won his next fight after that took place, a year and a half?
Yeah, and in that Verdum fight, I mean, it's not like we saw the best Cain Velasquez fighting Verdum. It was a husk, a shell of former self.
Yeah. But, I mean, and we may very well get the same kind of a treatment with Rockhold.
We saw him knock out Travis Brown July of 2016.
Everybody knocks out Travis Brown.
That's not the thing. It's the date. That's a year and a half ago. And before that, it was a whole other year when he lost to Verdum. He didn't fight for between the Junior Dos Santos rematch and the Verdum fight. That was nearly 2-year gap. This guy fights every time there's a supermoon, for fuck's sake.
Pretty much.
And I'd take my chance of seeing that before I see Cain Velasquez fighting again.
So I really think that it's evident out of that particular camp. They can talk about how great they are, but the problem is we always know they injure themselves more than any other camp because they say they go harder. Well, maybe you should go smarter.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, too, is when they get champions, with the exception of Daniel Cormier, those champions lose, and they lose in a big way, in a grand way, and they don't come back the same. We haven't seen Rockhold. He came back and fought some schlub.
Yeah.
Here probably 6 or 8 months ago.
And then when he fought Jacare, wasn't it?
Was it? No. Really?
I gotta hope I'm wrong on that.
Maybe. I
mean, he recovered well after knocking out Derek Brunson.
It does seem like it was somebody pretty competitive.
David Branch.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes more sense. I was thinking, no, because Jacare's top talent. Rockhold hadn't proven shit since he got his ass kicked by Michael Bisping.
Rockhold has not fought Jacare.
Yeah. Well.
Damn. Well, I'll tell you what. If Rockhold loses Yoel, that's probably going to be his next fight.
I don't like Rockhold's chances in that.
Nope. Head kick to go to Sleep Town. Well, good picks, man. Let's get to our weekend picks. What you drinking?
Let's see. This coming weekend, what am I going to be drinking? It's not going to be cachaça because that was a big mistake. Picked up because I just want to make some.
Yeah, that was really bad.
I just want to make some caipirinhas around here, and
which is Brazilian for shitty liquor drink made of diesel.
Pretty much, because it has a very diesel flavor. You know what I'm going to have to do? Coming summer, I'm going to buy a watermelon and spike it with that and hope that it turns out good. Covers up the diesel flavor. If not, well, we're going to have a...
Use it to start your lawnmower.
We'll shoot it with a 45. So
we'll get some fun out of it one way or the other.
Let's see.
What am I going to be drinking this weekend?
So I do think this weekend I am going to be going with... some Mickey's Fine Malt Liquor, which, by the way, that sponsor the podcast today.
Yes, thank you for all your confusing fucking pictures on your caps.
All the confusing signs you're giving us. Like, is this good or is it bad?
Real? Is this real?
But nonetheless, though, probably Mickey's Malt Liquor. I think for me this weekend.
I'll probably be drinking a bottle of mead that I'm going to grab from you before I head out of here tonight.
All right. On to metal. I'm going to go a little more obscure. I would check out Blackout the Sun by Seven Dust. Came out 5 years ago, back in 2013. Not their best work. I'm not trying to say it is. But I am saying it's different, and if you want to throw a different ear to it, that's not a bad way to go.
Shit. I'm probably going to be listening to a lot of Devin Townsend on the road tomorrow.
It's not a bad way to go.
To a lot of Devin Townsend while I'm up there. Yeah, going to go DT. I'm going to keep that band alive in my heart.
Gotcha.
MMA.
Yeah, this coming weekend is going to be an interesting one because of the fact that you do have Mark Hunt. We're not going to see that guy probably in the UFC much longer.
I think he has 2 more fights left on his contract after this one.
Yeah.
I don't know how valuable he's going to be to Bellator after that. This guy is old.
He's been cracked.
Weathered.
He's been cracked.
Old weathered vet. We'll find out where that chin is this weekend.
I'm going to go. God, I was going to go with that one, but my problem is I'm going to like the outcome on that probably no matter what, as long as it's not controversial. Let me go ahead and move my chips over to Yoel Romero.
Well, going all in.
Yeah, but only if you give me. You did Floyd the Barber a while ago. You're going to have to give me the Yoel Romero because that. That one remains one of your, actually one of your most spot-on impressions.
Michael Bisping!
There it is.
You said that to me? I love you. I'm so sorry. I'm going to go really different. I'm going fucking fancy realm. I got a fight coming up before I crash to drive for half a day tomorrow. I see a 185 Brogus Drawl unifying the middleweight belt with Daniel Cormier's shitty-ass 205 belt.
So, UFC 3.
That's right. Time to be the GOAT.
Good man.
And it's real easy to do.
Well, I wish you the best in that, given the limited time you have. If you're going to be fresh as a daisy for the road.
Oh, shit. Got to be up at like 5:30 on the road, 6:30.
You can be up to midnight easy.
I was thinking about it, and when you say it, it sounds viable. But it's like, I got shit I got to do, actually. No, who knows? Might just bring that along on the road and get that done in Wyoming.
All right, friends. Well, that's going to be it for us on this until the next time, in which case then we will be in Austin for the UFC event. I understand there's a few of you probably want to do a meet and greet. Let us know. We'll probably be up for that, as long as you got some Mickey's Fine malt liquor with you.
Mickey's Fine or that St. Peter's Porter, man.
St. Peter's Old English. Yeah, St. Peter's Old English Porter. Yeah. It comes in a weird shaped goddamn bottle. I don't know, but
it comes in like a bottle that your medicine from the 1800s would come.
Yeah,
your laudanum if you wanted it in bulk.
It's a flask shaped bottle.
It's gnarly.
Yeah. Picked it up at World Market.
I feel like 25-30% of that cost is in the bottle.
They've been doing that bottle since 1770, according to the back. But
but the beer inside is fucking primo.
Beer inside. The beer inside.
Call in. I think I quoted the wrong song.
Yeah, maybe. All right, but nonetheless, though, next time we catch up with you, we'll be getting prepped for the UFC event in Austin.
And we'll have a third.
And we will, my brother Daryl.
You said you weren't going to mention him.
That's right.
Hopefully he doesn't listen to the end.
Probably won't. Probably listen to the point where we're not going to talk about it.
Here's what we'll do. We'll ask him, so did you listen to last week's podcast, that part we mentioned you? It's like, oh, no, I didn't. You fucking lie. You don't listen to the whole thing.
Lordy. It'll be all good.
Well, Daryl, we'll see you in a week and a half, bud.
All right.
A week when you hear this.
That old Marco Polo here getting his world travels done, and we'll be down
Marco
in
Chodo.
The world, what is it? The live music capital of the world. And hey, look out, 6th Street.
I thought it was the whore capital of the world.
And 6th Street and the campus at UT, especially probably the campus.
Indeed, that's the whore capital of the world.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us, friends.
I guess
don't watch Andy Griffith.
I don't know. Go and see if it makes you as angry as it made this guy. See you next Friday.